Good morning, it is Monday again. How are you doing today? Today we're going to be making a beautiful necklace. We're going to be using some gemstone beads and we're going to be using this gorgeous, like a moon-shaped hammered metal connector. So we're going to be turning loops, we're going to be turning pins, and we are going to be turning heads in these gorgeous necklaces. So they're very lovely. I hope you're all well today. What is the weather like where you are? It is dark and cold and gloomy again here, so I'm hoping it stays dry. That's the main thing. So is everybody here? Are we all ready to go? What have you been doing over the weekend? Did you have a nice one? Mine was fairly relaxing, didn't do much, to be honest. We did have some plans, but they changed last minute, so we did a little bit of making instead. Totally Bead says it's sunny in Clacton as always. Well, you know, the team brings the sunshine. I hope you're all okay down there. Good morning to Rachel. She says, good morning, everybody. Lovely weather, sunshine. Rachel, I need to get myself, is it South Yorkshire you're at? Because it's always lovely where you are. Good morning to Joanne. She says, good morning, Natalie. Good morning, all. And Sharon is also saying good morning to our creative beadiniers. I'll share that one with you. Hello to Dean. He says, good morning. How are you? I'm okay, thank you. And good morning to Edward too. Hope you had a lovely weekend. So as I say, today we're going to be turning lots and lots of pins, lots and lots of loops. I will show you how to do that with two different methods. So using your trusty round nose pliers to get those pins to sit lovely and neat on top of your beads. However, you will be making quite a lot of these. So if you have one of these, which is a little looper, it will speed you up no end. So when I made my prototype, I did it all by hand and then thought, I've got the tool, why aren't I using it? So I have done quite a few with these. I've made some already to speed us up, but I will show you all the different methods to do little loops and all sorts, but it's a very straightforward make today. And I think I can show you it on my bust. It makes a really beautiful statement necklace. And they're just, the gemstone beads are gorgeous. There's been a few selected for you today because we are going to be using two sizes. I personally love my gemstones. So I think gemstones are gorgeous for this. And they're all very calming and beautiful gemstones that have been picked out for you. Good morning to Janice. She says, good morning, everyone, from a Windsy Swansea. And yes, she has a little looper. Well done. Use it. You'll be pleased you've got one. Rachel said she's looking forward to this make. And Camille says, morning, Natalie. Hi, everybody. A bit dull here. Hope you all had a great weekend. And Lucy says, oh, look at that. Very pretty. Angela's asking, do you know if Kitty will be selling the bases on their own? I'm not too sure. Now, there is limited stock on these already. So we will have to see. Obviously, we want to make sure that they're all in the kits, but there may be some particular gemstones that you would like to use that maybe we've not selected for you. So if we have any left, I'm sure they'll be available to purchase individually. Sue says, good morning all. Looked really sunny when I woke up. It's a bit cloudier now in Staines and it's quite breezy. And Pauline says, good morning, Natalie. Looks beautiful. Just home from hospital after a hip replacement. Pauline, we hope you're feeling well. Make sure you are resting up, relaxing. I hope you've got somebody who's going to look after you, wait on your hand and foot and bring you all those cups of teas that you need. And also bring in your beads for you on a beading tray so you can just sit and relax. So sending you lots of well wishes. Angela says hers is already ordered, which is fantastic. Good morning to Charlotte. She says, hello, Natalie and everybody. And Totally Beads have confirmed for us that we will see what stock we've got left in a couple of days and add the moon to the website. So if you want one, I would suggest you get a kit today because, as I say, they are limited stock and they seem to be very popular already, which is great. Nicole says, hi, Natalie and everyone. It's snowing here and a bit cold in Oregon this early AM. Kind of weird weather for April, and it looks like it'll be round for a couple of days. I have you have your memories and things that come up on your social media, just telling me about all the gorgeous places I walked in the sunshine not too long ago. It doesn't feel like that long ago. And obviously it's this year, April, has been it doesn't feel very spring at all to me. Pauline says, I would love to buy the base for my own choice of beads. I can't find them anywhere. Well, Pauline, they will be available on the website. If we've got any left from the kits, we will sell them individually for you. Wait and have a little look what we've got for you though, because they are very gorgeous gemstones we've selected. Sheila says, good morning, Natalie and fellow beaders. Sunny in Washington, Tyne and Weir. Mandy says, good morning, everybody. Cloudy on the Wirral. Francis says, good morning to everybody. I've got Caroline here. He says, morning, Natalie and our beading family. Dull day, but clouds are slowly clearing. Cold wind too. It is nippy. I keep having to put the heating on. And I sit right next to a radiator in here, so I can warm my hands up. Good morning to Anne. She says, morning, Natalie and everybody. It's sunny in Yorkshire today. I know it always is by the looks of things from what Rachel says. Good morning to Mina. She says, good morning, beading family. And Sharon is already there reminding you to click the like button. Thank you, Sharon. It's always yourself or Ruth that reminds me because I often forget. So if you like what we do, hit the like button, hit the love button, give us a thumbs up. Make sure you're subscribed as well, so you can see all the gorgeous makes that we do, whether you're watching us on YouTube or on Facebook. And hopefully all the streams will stay okay today. So I am going to take you over to the website now, and I'm going to show you the absolutely beautiful choices that you've got today. So let me take you over. Usual place of wonder, tolybeads.co.uk is our website, and you can see, you can click in the video tutorials here, or you can go in categories and you can scroll down there. We'll do it this way today just to be different. So we're going for the Crescent Necklace, which is right at the top of your page. This is the prototype that I made with the multi-vein stone, so you can see how it looks. But these are the kits we've put together for you today. So we've got a beautiful lepidolite. Now, lepidolite, it won't look like it does there. I will show you those beads individually. They're kind of like a lilac grey, kind of rose colour. They're very, very beautiful. They are $14.99, and this kit should have been £18.50. So that is an absolute incredible discount. You will notice they're all different in price, and that's because obviously gemstones vary in price. Some are a lot more expensive, a lot more sought after, some are more rare. So those kits have been heavily discounted for you today, but there is a slight variant in price. So this is the lepidolite. I'll go into this one for you and you can have a look. So in each of your kit, you're going to get that beautiful metal moon shaped crescent moon base, and that's going to have little holes in it to make our lovely connectors and also connect that to the chain. You're going to get two sizes of your round gemstone bead. So whichever one you choose, you're going to get your 6mm and your 8mm in there. Now you could probably do a selection of sizes, but I think these two sizes work really well together in giving that kind of graduated waterfall type look. You're also going to get a pack of your 6mm jump rings. All of your findings are going to be rhodium plated, so they're all going to match that base beautifully. You're also getting your eye pins, you're getting your ball pins, you're going to get two extra jump rings, which are going to be slightly larger. They're going to be your 8mm jump rings, and that's what we're going to attach our chain to at the top. You're also going to get your chain, which is black etched oval, which looks gorgeous. And you're going to get a lobster clasp as well. So all of those things in your kit, there's so much in these, but it's very easy to put together. They are just $14.99 for the lepidolite. So that is that beauty for you. Lepidolite is really good. It's said to be quite a calming stone. It releases stress and anxiety. It's very, very soothing. I am going to show you those here, just so you get the colour. So as I say, they're kind of like a lilac-y kind of grey and rose colours. They are very, very pretty. So if you're more into your pinks, these are probably the closest that we've got to that for you today. So there you can see your gorgeous necklace for your first colour choice. We've got the multi-vein stone, which is one that I'm going to be, well, I'll show you that. That's the one that I've made my sample up with. So again, everything that you need to make this necklace is in this kit. All of the different sizes of your beads, your eye pins, your ball pins, your jump rings, your chain, everything you need there. And that's just £10.99. So that should have been £14.50. So for £10.99, I would say there you're literally just paying for what those gemstones cost, which is an absolute amazing deal. Thank you, Simon, if you're watching, for putting these together for us. They are gorgeous. So that one's your multi-vein stone. We've got your snowflake, which is Snowflake Obsidian, and they are already out of stock. So if you are watching, Simon, if we've got any to replenish, please do. Snowflake Obsidian is a beautiful, beautiful stone. I think you're all aware of that, and that's probably why you've bought it already. So it's great for fulfillment and balance during change. It's just very, very pretty. It's black with the most beautiful like little white patterns and snowflake looking. So if there's any available left, they are £17.99 for you, down from £21.50. I'll be honest, I'm quite excited to see these are already out of stock, because it means that you like this, which is lovely. I'll be able to do, oh my goodness, have they all gone out of stock? Oh my goodness. Right, Simon, if you're watching, if we've got anything left, please please update the website. So I am getting notifications there. We've got some gorgeous sodalite, or we had some gorgeous sodalite for you. They are £19.49 if we have any left. It seems a bit silly showing you these now, but they're absolutely gorgeous. They're good for intelligence, logic, clarity. There's lots of properties attributed to gemstones, and whether you believe in that or not, either way, they're gorgeous to look at. Sodalite is a stunning blue stone. That is what I'm going to be demoing for you today. And we also had the white howlite, and they are just gorgeous. They look absolutely beautiful against this metal base. White howlite is meant to be good for inspiration and creativity, and good for your memory. So if there's something that you think you would benefit from, then the white howlite is a perfect one for you. They are absolutely beautiful. Let me see if I can show you them. There you go. So that's what the white howlite look like. Beautiful kind of marbled effect on those. And obviously every gemstone is unique and different. These are all cut to the same size, so you'll be getting your 6 and your 8mm beads in there, but each one will have its own unique pattern and colour and just gorgeousness to it. Okay, so I don't know what, there you go. They look like they're back in stock again. So if there's anything that you want, you can see how quickly these are going. Please, 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 please make sure you pop one in your basket and you go to checkout as soon as possible with that, so you get these gorgeous, gorgeous things today. The howlite is £14.99, so quite varied in price. The lowest price one is the multi-vein stone. They all look absolutely gorgeous with these bases. These colours have been picked out. As I say, they're all common in terms of their gemstone properties, but they all look very, very beautiful with the base. So I'm gonna stop sharing my screen and let's have a little look what you're saying. So Lucy has kindly shared the necklace design link for you today, so to the gemstone crescent necklace. Thank you very much. Good morning to Jitty. She says hello, Natalie and everybody. Pamela says good morning, Natalie and everybody. Totally Beads have put them back in stock for you. You are alert today. Thank you so much. So they've been refreshed for you now, and you can add them back in your basket. Lucy says she's liking the white howlet one. And Pauline says, absolutely fuming. I had 2 in my trolley waiting to see the colours on the live. They've gone from my trolley before I can order. Pauline, there is a point watching. Please come back. We have refreshed them for you so you can get them now. So let's get going. Let's show you them back on the mat. As I say, you can do a very similar design with these. All of them will be unique to you because it's entirely up to you. Let's take it off. Let's take it off the busting light flat. It looks better on because it hangs lovely with gravity, but you'll see that all we're doing is making lovely little loops. So we're going to make some double connectors with our pins, and we're also going to make some little wrap loops for the bottom ones. But you can attach these on however you like. So there are 19 little holes, there's 19 that I've attached to. You've obviously got your 2 at the top, which we're going to put our larger jump rings through. So I've started off with the smaller 6mm. I've done another row of the smaller 6mm. So I think with the bottom ones as well, you probably need maybe around 38 of them on the double connectors. And then I've put the larger ones, which are the 8mm, through this one and a few on the bottom. And I've added a couple of both the 6mm and the 8mm onto the very bottom center. But you can play around with how you want these to look and the sizes that you would like to choose. So there they are all for you. I am going to start by making a lot of my wrap loops. So to begin with, I'm going to use my eye pins. So you're going to get eye pins in your kit, and you're also going to get ball pins in your kit. And I will explain, if you don't know, what the difference is between them. They're all going to be rhodium, which will look gorgeous against your metal base. I shall move that slightly out the way. So this is your gorgeous metal moon crescent. As you can see, it is fairly similar on both sides, but I would say this side is the front. It's got a little bit more of a dome shape to one side. It's hammered, so it's got a gorgeous texture to it. It's very, very, very pretty. Hello, Carol. Hello, Margaret. Lucy says, lovely statement piece. I really like this. Sarah says, really pretty. I fancy doing some wire wrapping with the stones over the main piece. That'd be gorgeous, Sarah. I mean, you could make them. I wanted to do like little window hangings as well with them, but I also wanted a necklace, and we can't have everything. So Sarah's put, the coralline technique would be fab hanging down from the crescent too, with seed beads or gem chips. Good morning to Yogi Caspi. She says, morning Natalie and happy beaders. Thankfully she got her order sorted quickly, which is brilliant. Lucy says she doesn't really wear many of her makes. Well, I think if you've got this one, you probably would want to wear it. Anyway, the back to the difference between a head pin and an eye pin. So your eye pin has got a little loop on the bottom of it. And what we're going to be doing is we're going to be making another loop on the top to make that matching. So we've got double connectors. We can hang on our necklace. We can have our beads in the middle and we connect them from the top and the bottom. Your ball pins have got a gorgeous little ball on the bottom of them, and that's what we're going to be using for our very bottom row, just to give them a nice finish. And you can do just a little loop on these. I'm going to be making wrap loops, but you could just turn it into a little connector at the top if you want to. Sarah says to Lucy, it's the making which is the fun bit. And Camille says she wears all of her makes, but she only makes the things that she likes. That's a good idea. Okay, so take your gemstone beads, whichever ones you've got. As I say, I'm using the sodalite today, and you can just sit and make quite a few of these up. So you've got your 6mm and you've got your 8mm. So you can see you've got your two different sizes there. Each stone is very different and very, very beautiful. So this one has got lots of gorgeous light blues on it, whereas this one is much darker. But I think you'll agree, both very beautiful. Janice says she wouldn't wear this, but she thinks she'll make a wall art piece for some of her long necklaces. And that is a really good idea. You could hang them from there. That'd be gorgeous. Okay, so if you're going to make a little loop to make a double connector, you're going to pop your gemstone of whichever size on. And what I do is I take my pliers and I'm going to bend it to about 90 degrees just above that gemstone. So I'm just going to turn it so it's facing whichever direction. And then I'm going to cut off, leaving about 1 centimetre. And then I'm going to take my round nose pliers and I'm going to position that pin up to the very tip of my round nose. Now what you can do if you want, you can take your eye pin and you can position the loop that's already done for you in your pliers to see whereabout you need to wrap the other side. And that way they're going to be exactly the same. It really doesn't matter if you've got one loop larger than the other with this. But if you are a perfectionist and you want to make them exactly perfect, then you can always mark with a pen or just look with your eye and see whereabout you need to start turning that loop. Pauline says she's got them, thank goodness. Good, Pauline, I am pleased. Okay, so you pop that back in to where you think you need that loop to be. We're going to make sure there's nothing sticking out the other end. And I'm just going to start to turn that. So I'm using my wrist just to give it a little twist. And that will make my little loop sit nicely at the top. If you want to, you can take 2 pairs of your pliers if needed. And just give that a little twist to make sure that they are sitting in the same direction. That's how easy it is. So by popping in your pin to your bead and then making that little bend, that bend ensures that your loop is going to fit nicely and sit at the top of your bead. I'm going to need to twist this one because I've got this loop facing up, and if I have it at the side then it turns the same way, but it's not the end of the world. I can just straighten that up at the end. So I'm going to cut off my excess, leaving about 1 centimetre. I'm going to pop my round nose pliers in and I'm going to start to turn that up. You can turn it towards you, away from you, it's entirely up to you what your preference is. I turn it towards me. Going to turn that loop till it's all the way closed, and then I am going to need to, on this one, just give it a little twist so they are facing the same way. Very straightforward to do. So it's a nice thing to do, as I say, if you're just sitting and making. I tend to make a batch of these first. So I know I'm going to need 19 for my first one. And then it's just however many you want, how many cascades you want to make in terms of your rows. So I'm giving it a bend. Chopping off the excess. I always keep hold of it with my fingers when I cut it as well, just to make sure that it doesn't ping away across the room. And I'm just going to turn it with little tiny motions of my wrists just to get that loop closed up. Okay, if you have a looper, it works the same way, but without much of the effort, to be honest. So these are available, I think, on the website as well. Pop your bead onto your pin as usual. Let me just move this out the way a little bit so we've got a bit of focus. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to position my pin through the little hole so it's coming out the other side. And all I'm going to do is just press. And that is going to turn my loop for me. It's going to cut off the excess bit by putting it through that hole. And it's going to cut it for me and turn it for me with just a little gentle press of my handle. It's an amazing invention. But all I'm going to do is I'm going to take my round nose pliers and I'm just going to close it up that little bit more. So that's how straightforward it is to do with the looper. I'll show you again. Pop your bead on. Slide that pin through so your bead is sitting up to this part where it's going to cut and your pin is sticking out the little hole in the back. Gentle little squeeze and it will cut that off and turn that loop for you. How good is that? I do just like to go in and just make sure they're closed, and also if I need to I can give it a little twist and straighten it up. So you can see if I'm doing them by hand, they're going to take me much longer, but I'm still going to get the desired effect. If I'm doing it by hand, I tend to get more perfect little loops in terms of, they're already closed for me. But these take absolute seconds. So if you're going to invest in a tool, my two favourite tools would be nylon coated pliers to straighten any wire, and I would definitely say the looper if you're doing a project like this. Now, if I'm going to make a wrapped loop, I am going to take my ball pin, so my little pin with the ball on the end, and I'm going to position my gorgeous bead onto there. And I'm going to pop in my round nose pliers and I'm still going to give that a little bend. Then I'm going to position my round nose pliers up on that bend and I'm going to start to turn the wire around my round nose. You can just reposition them. So I've got that little loop sitting on top, so it's above my bead. And then all I tend to do is I swap hands. So I'm taking my other pliers in my dominant hand and I'm just going to give that a little turn and make a few loops and a few wraps around the top of that bead. And then with my cutters, I'm going to come in and I'm going to trim off that excess. And then I'm going to pop it back into my round nose just to hold it. And with my pliers, I'm just going to tuck in that tiny little tail. And that is how I'm making my very little pretty wrap loops. So Lucy says, the sun is trying to come out. I think I'll take the doggy out for a nice walk after this. Ruth is asking you to hit the like button. Thank you for our reminder there, Ruth. That's lovely of you. And Nicole says she loves using the looper. It cuts the time in half. We needn't say cuts in half. It's literally seconds. They're amazing, aren't they, Nicole? And Sheila says the looper tool is great, especially if you have arthritic fingers. I think if you're doing lots of these, your hands will get a little bit tired, and if you haven't got one, it's not the end of the world. You can just do it in little stages. You can make little batches up of them. You can, pick it up and put it down, make maybe 10 at a time, have a little rest in between. But if you've got the looper, it's just that. It's the only motion you're doing. And Lucy has kindly shared the link for the one-step looper as well for you there. Thank you very, very much. So I'm going to make another one of those wrap loops. Now I tend to use the smaller 6mm for the end, but I have put some of my larger 8mm on there as well. So you can do this with both sizes of your beads, works exactly the same way. So I'm turning it at first and bringing that pin around those pliers. So I'm creating the loop at the top. And then you can do it with your hands as well, but I do tend to find if you've got another pair of pliers, you can just bring that round and wrap down that little space between the pin loop at the top and the bead. And I tend to wrap it around 3 times. Then I'm going to cut off that little bit of wire from my pin that's left over. And I'm just popping it back in just so I can grip onto it when I stick the little tail end down. So that's how I do my wrap loops. And you can see they're pretty much exactly the same in terms of size and wraps. If you don't want to do a wrap loop, you can use the ball pins as you would usually and just turn it like we did for the double connectors, only you're only going to turn one, so you're not going to have those 2 connectors. You're going to have that tiny little ball underneath. So make as many of those as you would like, and then, as I say, make a little batch of them. I could quite happily sit and do that all day because I really enjoy doing it, but I'm going to start putting out the little ones I've done. So they are some of the wrap loops that I've done already. Put them in a little pile, and I've made a little pile of my 6 and my 8mm on the double connectors. So then we're going to get our gorgeous base, and we're going to get our 6mm jump rings. So to open up your jump ring, I'm going to get it with my pliers on both sides. So I'm going to give it as much grip as I can, and all that will be really available to turn will be that tiny little opening in the top. And I'm going to give it a twist towards me or away from me just to open that up. Hi Candice. And Pauline's also ordered hers, which is great. So to start off, I'm going to use my smaller 6mm. So I'm going to pull a few of those out of my pile. And I'm just going to start attaching these. So I'm not going to use the top hole on my base on either side. I'm going to leave them so I can put in my larger jump rings, and I'm going to attach them onto the chain. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to pick up one of the jump rings that I've just opened, and I'm going to pop that on to the second hole down, take one of my lovely little double connector loops, and then I'm going to close over that jump ring exactly the same as we did to open it. I'm just going to close it going in the opposite direction. Sometimes I go slightly past the joining and then it springs back nicely and it is fully closed. And while I'm going to be doing this, I'm just going to be casting my eye over my lovely little loops, and I'm just going to check that they are fully closed, and if any of them need straightening up, then I can do that as I go by just giving it a little twist. So I'm taking my jump ring, I'm sliding it through my base, adding on one of my 6mm and closing that over. And I'm going to do that all the way down through each of those little holes. So I'm really loving the sodalite. It's probably one of my favourites. I do love blues, and I think if you've got sodalite or even lapis, they're both very similar in colour. Your lapis has like little bits of pyrite in it, like little bits of kind of gold flecks, where your sodalite has like darker blues and whites in terms of like a kind of marbling effect. It's very, very lovely. It is attributed to lots of different properties. As I say, it's meant to be good for clarity and logic and intelligence, something that I could definitely do with a little bit more of. So all I'm doing is, doesn't matter which way round I put them in terms of my loop, because they're the same on each side. So it could be the loop that I've made, it could be the loop that is already on that eye pin. I think they're called eye pins because it makes a little eye if you look at one of them. So you can see that loop is just sitting nicely on top of that pin. So I will speed up a little bit. Once you've turned your loops and your pins, it's just a case of connecting them and putting them together. So you might want to pick up a lot of your jump rings when they're already open. So just sit and open them up. As I say, I tend to do things in like little batches. So for something like this, I would do my double connecting loops. I'd probably then do my wrapped loops. And then I would just open up a load of my jump rings. And then it's just a case of popping them all together. They make a really lovely sound. And you're going to get your chain in your kit as well. I think you're getting about 40 centimetres of the chain, so there's going to be plenty in there for you to be able to adjust the length if you need to. And you can always just add some extra jump rings on and make yourself a little extender chain if you needed to. But I don't think you're going to need the full 40 centimetres. I quite like this where it sits just on my collarbone, because obviously your beads are going to cascade off the bottom, and that's going to give you a little bit of length as well. So I'm just sliding that jump ring onto the base. Then I'm picking up one of my 6mm beads that I've made into a double connector and closing that jump ring back over. Let's pull some more of these 6s out. Ooh. It was going to happen at least once, wasn't it? I was bound to drop it at some point. So I'm just going to close that jump ring, as I say, by just taking it slightly past the point where those two ends meet. And then it will spring back and they should rub together a little bit so they're closed beautifully. If they don't meet in the middle, just give it a little bit of a wiggle. So open it up again and then close it again. And opening them up like this will make sure that we're not distorting that shape. So we're not opening them out that way, we're opening them that way, if that makes sense. So as I say, it's entirely up to you how you want to arrange the sizes of your gemstones. I mean, you might want to get even larger ones. I think we do go up to a 10mm. You might want to get even smaller ones, but the 6 and the 8 work really well together. I think it's got a nice balanced look to it. I'm hoping it's not too noisy. It sounds like somebody has a hedge cutter out in the background. I've had a lot of people cutting back trees and things, and obviously getting their gardens ready for spring. So it's a little bit noisy. So I've attached all of those onto my lovely base. And now I'm going to attach another row. I've chose to do another row of the 6mm, and I'm just going to connect them on to the ones we've just attached in exactly the same way. Now, if you want, you can attach your pin onto the pin that you've already got, but I like using the jump rings just to link them together. It's going to give me that extra little bit of length and ensure that they're all sitting perfectly even. So I'm just going to go back down that row of the ones that I've just added, and add another one to it. Lucy says it's very Cleopatra. It's got kind of a tribally look to me. I just think kind of like a lunar goddess. So yeah, they are quite Cleopatra. I just think they'll be lovely in the summer. I think they'd look nice, you know, at like a festival, because they've got kind of like a bohemian look to them. But I can't remember who said it when I mentioned them on Friday during the live, and I gave you a little sneak peek, and they said they'd just be really nice to wear with like a plain t-shirt, and whoever it was quite right. And you see, they just go together really, really easy. Once you've turned those loops and you've created those double connectors, it's just a case of attaching them together. And they can swing round and things at the moment. It really doesn't matter. You don't have to be too detailed with it, really. So it's a very, very easy project to do. Joanne says, yes, same here. The council workers are out in force trimming the grass. I mean, it needs to be done, doesn't it? I do, my excuse of leaving like the dandelions and things is they're often the first things to come out in the spring, and they're the first bits of food for a lot of our bumblebees and important insects. So I'm quite happy not to weed my garden just yet, but it does need doing. The weather's just been so erratic. We've had hailstones again this week. I know some people have still been getting snow. And then when the sunshine's come out, it's been lovely, but it's still been really cold. So I'm just connecting my next row, and then I'm going to graduate up a size, and I'm going to add my 8mm. Just looking how we're doing for time. It's just as well I made these in advance, because we'll be here all day again. I mean, if you wanted to, you could just finish that row off with your eye pins. It's entirely up to you the length that you're going for. Get some more of these sixes out. You're going to get plenty in your strands. So I think in this design, I've used the first 2 rows as the 6mm, then a row of the 8mm, and then I've made another row which have a mix. So I've used the 6mm on the outside, brought some of the 8mm in the middle, and as I say, that very central one, I put a few of both on. And from both strands of gemstones, I still had some left over, which I think would make lovely earrings. Or you could make yourself a little gemstone bead ring. You could have a full suite of jewellery. Personally, I think some little earrings, you know, you could just take your eye pin and just pop them straight onto an earring hook. Sneezing like mad due to the grass cutting, said Celia. Weather's meant to be getting better now, says Lucy. One can only hope. And Joanne says, I do remember when I was a kid, it snowed at Easter, turned into great fun. I don't know whether I remember snow at Easter. I don't know. Easter for me is just like, it's new life, isn't it? It's meant to be like little lambs and daffodils and yeah, not snowball fights, Joanne. Oh, Charlotte, thank you so much for the stars. That is absolutely greatly appreciated. Thank you very, very much. So, speaking of Easter, I'm not sure if we've got a live on Wednesday for you this week. I don't know if Kitty, excuse me, will be joining you. If not, we will be back on the Friday this week, and we're going to be starting those lovely Easter makes that she's put together. So I don't know whether that's going to take you all through the weekend or it's just going to be on the bank holiday on the Friday and the Monday. But we've got lots to keep you occupied, and we will keep you posted about Wednesday. So I'm going to add another one on. I may make this a little bit shorter in terms of length, just to speed up. So you can see there I've got my gorgeous beads and they sit lovely next to each other. Let's try and get some of the 8 on, and then I'll just finish off. So are you all confident now in terms of how to turn your loops? Is it something that you've done many times before and you're well practiced at when it comes to making double connectors using your eye pins and your ball pins? I think the more you do of them, the neater they become. So if you're to make this project, you'll be an absolute professional at turning loops by the time you've finished making it. So I'm just attaching on my larger ones now, which are my 8mm. And that's just going to just give it a little bit more, well, texture, I think, graduating up with those sizes. Oh, thank you, Celia. She says, yes, the events are scheduled for all 4 days. So that'll keep us busy over the bank holiday weekend. There's some gorgeous bracelets that she's making. Charlotte says she's loving the look already. Thank you very much. As I say, when I'm picking them up, I'm just casting my eye over them to check my pins are fully looped and closed over. We don't want to be dancing about and for them to come off those jump rings. Joanne says, when the weather's all over the place at this time of year, I always remember my grandma saying, never cast a cloud till May's out. Ooh, lots of different sayings, I think, and suppose, isn't it, for this time of year. Oh, Judith, thank you. She says, it's beautiful. It's really easy to do. I think I had, as I say, when I seen the gorgeous bases, when I went down to the warehouse, I was like, I have to make something with that. And I was thinking like window hangers, but I really wanted a necklace. You can never have too many. So I'm just picking up the jump ring, which I've opened up already, sliding that through one of my connectors onto my larger bead, and then joining that on to the connector on the 6mm bead that I've already attached before closing that up. Not got too much longer to do. I'm going to work from the middle outwards, I think, when I do my very final row. And then I can just check it looks balanced as I go. But again, if you put it together and you think, actually, I'd rather have another row of the 6mm there, or I'd rather have an extra one of the 8, or I'd like to put a couple of beads together, I'd like to put some of the 6s and the 8s together, you can do that. And all you need to do is just open up your jump rings and take them off. It's, nothing is permanent with this design. And that's the good thing about using these products and these materials. They are very versatile. They're very easy to put together, and they're very easy to take apart and redesign if you decide you want to. So I might need to make a few more up. We shall see. Your inner Cleopatra calling you, Natalie, to make a necklace, says Camille. I know, yeah. My inner moon goddess. Or the werewolf in me, whichever, Camille. Joanne says, I love the look of this make. I think I'll have to talk nicely to the other half. Talk to him quick, Joanne, if you want it. As I say, they are limited stock. You've already seen that they went out of stock very quickly. Thankfully, the warehouse team have been able to put some more together for you. So I'm just going to add on my last one of my 8mm row. And then I'm going to lay it flat so it is facing me. The wind is picking up outside. Okay, so I'm just going to put them kind of straight out in the order that they should be hanging. And as I say, when you wear them, they'll hang lovely. With gravity, it'll make them drop. So I'm finding this one is the center. I think I'm going to make myself a slightly different one just for that center. So I'm going to pop on a small 6mm and an 8mm and another 6mm. And I've popped that on to my ball pin because my ball pins are going to be what finishes the ends of this off. So there's no extra connector on the end, just got that lovely little finish and that lovely little detail. And again, you don't have to make wrap loops with these if you don't want to, but I think they look rather nice. So I'm just turning that so I've got my little loop on the top of my pin, and then I'm going to give it a little wrap by pulling that round. I tend to wrap it round about 3 times. These ball pins are nice and soft, so they're sturdy enough, but they've got the strength in them, but they're nice to wrap. I'm gonna just trim off that little end. And I'm just gonna make sure that that is tucked in to the pin, so there's nothing scratchy or sticking up. So I'm gonna find my center one, which is that one. And I'm going to need to open up more of my jump rings, I think. Where's my jump rings gone? Just bear with me. There we are. So it's like all your findings are going to be in the rhodium plate, and that's going to just match really nicely. So I'm just going to close off and finish that extra last row. So you can position them down first and have a little play about with them. I think I'm going to put some of my 8mm either side of that. So I think I'm probably going to use, I think 3 either side would look nice. And then I'm going to finish off with my 6mm. So I'm just going to add some of those on very quickly, and then it's just a case of attaching my chain with my larger jump rings. So you're going to get 2 of the large jump rings in your pack, as well as your 6mm jump rings. Camille says my jump rings were hiding. Do you know why? Because I put them away. I have a little bag where I pop my findings. And that's my problem. If I tidy up, I can't find things. If I just leave them all over the place, like spread out all over the desk, then I know where to find them. So just going to open a couple of those up. Joanne says she has to catch up the rest later. She's going for a blood test, so good luck with that. I hope it goes well for you, Joanne. It's exactly the same process to finish off. I'm sure you can understand what I'm doing, so don't worry if you can't catch up. But if not, you can always watch back our lives. We always share them in the handmade group, and you can catch them on YouTube. And if you go into the video tutorial category on the website and click on the Crescent gemstone necklace, the video will also stay there with it. So all I'm doing is I'm working out from the middle, and then I'm making sure now that it's symmetrical. So I've got the same amount on either side of that central one. And the same size rather. I mean, you could maybe pop on a couple onto one jump ring and see what that looks like. They tend to lie quite straight together when they're hanging, when you're wearing them. Okay, so I've put 4 of the 8mm onto the ends, and now I'm just going to finish off just adding on the smaller 6mm. Everyone's hoping that your appointment goes well, Joanne. We're all thinking of you. So you can see it's not a very long make. Obviously, the time in this is gonna be just making your pins and your wrap loops. If you've got a looper, it's probably only gonna take you maybe 20 minutes to do. But as I say, the more you do those wrap loops and you make your pins into double connectors, the quicker you're going to be at doing them. Gone slightly over time, but I feel we may as well finish off because we've not got that much more to do. So I'm just opening up those jump rings, just twisting them towards me or away from me. And then I can close it up by just twisting it in the opposite direction. I just find I get into like a little trance doing this. I just find it's something like really quite soothing. I can just switch off. So you will have to keep talking to me in the comments, just in case I find myself just sitting in silence making. It's not going to be very interesting watch if I do that, is it? Just disappear with my thoughts, thinking about all the gardening I need to do. Never got all my Easter gifts sorted out. Will you do anything nice for Easter? Does anybody cook any kind of Sunday lunches or see family? Easter egg hunts? Do you do anything a bit different? Have you got any of your own family traditions or anything like that? I need to make one more of my wrap loop pins. So I am popping him around nose, giving it a bend, bending it round the top to get my loop sitting nice and straight on the top of the bead. Taking my other pliers, giving that a little twist round, wrapping it 3 times. Trim off the end. Try and trim it quite close up to the bead. And then with the pliers, just make sure you tuck that little end in. Debbie says, family and friends, a huge dinner. That sounds lovely. I don't know what I'm doing this year. Mum, if you're watching, can I come for lunch? Just trying to get rid of some of these messages that are popping up on my screen. Not your messages, just computer updates and whatnot. Okay, so now I'm adding on my last little loop, my wrap loop. And closing that over. And then I'm just going to hold it up and check I've got them all as I want to. I don't think really I needed to make that one particularly longer. I could have added some more of the longer ones on there as well. Okay, so now all I'm going to do is I'm going to take 2 of my larger jump rings that you'll have in your kit. Ruth saying, can she come too, Mum? She needs feeding. And I'm just going to attach those larger jump rings onto the top of those 2 last holes onto the connector. I'm going to close them up for now, but I will open them up again for the chain. And then I'm going to take a chain length that I want. So usually I say I position it around my neck, and I think I probably want it to hang around about there. When I've got the length that I want, I'm going to position it down together. So I'm basically folding it in half. So I'm finding the middle point. If you want to, you can be really precise and you can count the links, or you can measure against a ruler. But this is my quick cheat kind of method. When I find my central link, I'm going to hold it up together to check the ends dangle and meet. So they're the same length. And I'm just going to open up this top link, a bit like I would do with a jump ring. So I can split this chain in half, and then I'm going to close it over again. And then I'm going to attach these 2 onto those jump rings and give myself a couple of extra jump rings and my gorgeous lobster clasp, so I can open and close this up to wear. So I'm going to open up this jump ring, the larger one. I'm going to thread my chain onto there and close it up again. And the same on the other side. And then I'm just going to attach my findings onto the end. So my jump ring, pop my lobster clasp through that jump ring and close that up. And then one onto the other side and close that up. As I say, if they don't quite close, just open it up again, give a little twist, and that should close nicely. And there you have your very beautiful gemstone necklace. I am going to put it on. So this is the gorgeous multi-vein one that we've done. Make myself big. Angela says, I'm working So is hubby. So I'll be with my gentleman. We'll buy him an Easter egg, though. That's lovely. Anne, you're most welcome to come too. She doesn't fancy cooking. Look at this. And Lucy says it's really stunning. Now I've made this probably a little bit long. I could have probably had it a bit shorter and have it sitting up there, but it's really comfortable. Yeah, I think I need to make my chain a bit smaller. So that one is the gorgeous Sodalite. Lucy says it's really stunning. Mina says she loves this necklace. So I think I've probably made this one a little bit shorter. Maybe I'd need a little bit more length with this one. Nicole says it's a very beautiful piece. So I think personally I would like that little bit longer, the chain, and this one I'd like a little bit shorter. But you see how it sits. It's very, very lovely. Well, I think it's very, very lovely, and it's got a lovely sound to it as well. So thank you for spending time with me. Lucy says, thank you so much for showing us all and spending time with us this morning. You are most welcome. It's been my absolute pleasure. I do apologise for keeping you a little bit later than planned. Ran about 13 minutes over. But as you see, it's a really easy make, very, very quick to do. All you're doing is turning those loops and you're getting a very gorgeous look. So I hope you all have a lovely, lovely week. Margaret says, wow, it's stunning. Thank you, Margaret. Go on the website, have a little look, see what's still in stock. If there are any left, you will be able to buy these gorgeous little moon shapes as separates, but that's if there's any left. Lucy, I hope you enjoy your walk and your doggy is okay. Goodbye to Angela. And Susan says, beautiful, Natalie. Thank you for showing us. You are most welcome. Thank you so much for staying with me today. So I will be back with you. I'm not too sure. It will be after the Easter, I think. Maybe the Wednesday, maybe the Monday. I don't know. I'm going to be making some gorgeous bracelets with you. Something that's not really a typical make for me. You know, I'm not a stitch beader. So it's not stitch beading, but it's something that when I first seen it and I've seen the design, we've done similar designs before, but not using these gorgeous, gorgeous products and these gorgeous beads. I thought there's no way I can do that. We'll have to pop that down as one of Kitty's makes. And I've given it a go and I've done it. And I'm really pleased with myself because I think that's something I would have kind of shied away from. And actually, I was more than capable of doing it. So please join me when I'm back and give it a go with me and tell me how to make it even better. So have a lovely, lovely week. Have an absolutely wonderful, wonderful Easter. Spend time with your family and friends. Eat lots and lots of chocolate. And yeah, just have a lovely, blessed one. So lots of love and light to you. Take care all. See you soon. Bye.